Today, we are going to make some grass. No, I'm not in Colorado, so it's not going to be that kind of grass. It's our techniques that are so simple and sensible, your modelers have practically built themselves. Hello, folks. It's Mad Dog Merv. Welcome back. We are still here in the winter time here in Salt Lake City, and I am getting itchy for summertime. I'll tell you what. On my Facebook page, every once in a while, I'll see some upcoming event, and it's a car show, and I'm thinking, in the wintertime? No, it's actually for something in the late spring or early summer that they're already making plans for. I love going to car shows. I love the car show season. A couple of years ago, I had the opportunity to go to Count's Customs in Las Vegas. If you ever watch the History Channel and are aware of the show Counting Cars, well, Danny the Count has a wonderful place down there and absolutely amazing shop. One of the things that I don't think we've really talked about much on the channel is my love of motorcycles. Now, when I say love of motorcycles, I think they're beautiful machines. Working on them, painting them, all that kind of stuff is really, really cool. The problem is, I just don't ride. You know, because I did ride at one time and I had a little accident, and me and motorcycles don't get along that way. But as far as the beauty of the machines, I absolutely love them. Well, when I was down there, I had the opportunity to see some of the work that they had done. And also, recently, I was watching one of my friends, the HPI Guys Workshop. If you have not checked them out on YouTube, please check them out. They review a bunch of these different model kits that come out, usually by Round 2 and some of the other companies. Anyway, there's this new kit out of a couple of motorcycles. Well, not a new kit. It's an old kit that's been re-released again for the 1000th time. But it's one that I'm going to be picking up. There's a couple of tricycles. Anyway, I am a big fan. And when you want to build something in 1/25th scale, which I do, it's hard to find a motorcycle in 1/25th scale. So one day I decided, you know what, I want to build a tricycle. And if I was going to build a tricycle in real life, or if I was going to have Danny the Count build me one in real life, it would have a V8 in it, I guarantee it. And if you're going to have a V8, well, why not have a Hemi? If you're going to have a Hemi, have a blown Hemi. So today we are going to look at a model I built, a completely scratch built, of a 1/25th scale tricycle. And I think you're going to find this one kind of interesting. So stick with us and check this out. So a couple of years ago, I had an opportunity to take a little trip with a friend of mine down to Las Vegas. We were there for the NHRA spring race. And while we were there, we went to Count's Customs. If you've seen the History Channel, Counting Cars, we went to the Count's place, and we went there early in the morning on a Sunday morning. So thought it would be kind of fun to see what this place was like. And you know, one of the things they've got there is a whole bunch of custom motorcycles that they do. These choppers that they make are just absolutely beautiful. You got to pay attention to the details on them. That's where the real fun part is looking at the details of these things. Right there in the front, though, they've got this refrigerator. I knew I was in a place I'd like. They got this refrigerator. It's kind of a metallic pea green with these purple flames on it. It had been converted with a little beer tap there right in the middle of it. So this was one of the neatest fridges I'd ever seen. Definitely want one of those. And they'd reupholstered this couch with this wild purple and leopard skin upholstery. And you see the purple fur on the walls. Great place. I absolutely love these kind of places. So they have a gentleman that works there named Mike, and this guy, he is a fabulous painter. And they had a collection of helmets, motorcycle helmets that he had done. This is one of those that it's got I don't know what you call it anyway. It's on the back of it. It's got the pinhead face coming out of the back of the helmet, and it's pretty darn cool. So, you know, it kind of inspired me. I'd really like to build a tricycle in 1/25th scale. There's really not much out there. And if I was going to build something, well, here's what I would build for me. So I'm going to do my best to go over the details of this particular build. Keep in mind that when I dreamt this thing up, I knew I wanted a Hemi engine, but I wasn't sure what I was going to do for the back end part. And parts boxes, you've seen my piece on parts boxes. Well, parts boxes are absolutely vital, particularly when you are doing some kind of a customizing build or a scratch build or whatever you want to call it. It's very important to be able to call upon your parts box. And I have a parts box for aircraft. I have one, and different scales of aircraft. Jets, props, and I have them for tanks, I have them for cars. So in this close-up here, you can see this little skull face with the helmet. And this particular piece came out of Rommel's Ride, which is a 1/25th scale Tom Daniels vehicle. And you're also going to notice these broadswords. Now, the idea for the broadswords came from a friend of mine who was a Green Beret back in the day. And he was telling us stories, and he told us a story about one of the gentlemen in his outfit that had these chromed broadswords that he had on the forks of his chopper. Never saw a picture, but I thought that would be a fun thing to scratch build. So I scratch built these out of sheet styrene. And as I recall, the hilts, I can't remember what the hilt's made out of. I just don't flat out remember what I used for that. But you'll see the little the drips of blood or drops of blood on the ends of the broadswords. Anyway, the skull and the helmet is the piece I got from Rommel's Ride. And you can see this thing's pretty long, pretty big piece of equipment. Well, we're going to have a Hemi engine powering it, so yeah, of course it's going to have to be pretty large. So what I did for the body is I used some parts. I think they're out of an AH-1, but I'm not 100% sure. But they were out of a helicopter, a 72nd scale helicopter kit that I had. And you can see the exhaust cover that I have over the where the exhaust should be. That's definitely something from a helicopter. That you can definitely identify. In this look here, though, you can really see that the wheelie bars were scratch built. Just out of stock styrene. These are some big hard plastic tires I got out of some really old funny car kit. Yes, I could have done better with the tires. I know I could have done something much better. But anyway, this is what I had available at the time, and it's what I used. But you can see the body. I did have to add some sheet styrene in some places. And I wanted to have these kind of, mean looking fins here on the side. So again, using some of the sheet styrene and incorporating that into the helicopter body, if you will. So here up front, of course, you're going to have a radiator to cool this thing down and an electrical fan. And I took this out of, I think it's a 32 Ford kit. I didn't take it out of the kit. I took it out of my parts box, but I think it's from a 32 Ford. As I recall. I thought that would look pretty good up front there for the radiator. You can see on these handlebars, they're just way back there. I can only imagine trying to keep this thing on the road. That'd be kind of fun. The front wheel came off of a very old funny car kit, something from the 1960s. And the rest of the forks, well, they were pretty much scratch built, as was most of the frame that you can see here in this particular picture. The front headlight came off of something from the parts box. The two turn signals in the front, they came off of something else in the parts box. Here's a good picture of that exhaust piece, though. The intake and exhaust from the top of the helicopter, I thought would be a great place to hide the headers coming out of this Hemi engine. And this Hemi engine's from a very old funny car kit as well. As far as wiring things up, I just took some yellow wire that I had left over and did some basic ignition wires on the thing. I didn't go hog wild with it, although I could. But the one thing you can see in this picture is the body. Now, I painted it with navy blue-gray testers
Model Master color, just the intermediate blue-gray color. But you can also see I made some little white wispy, I lightened it up with some white and did kind of these little wispy things to give it kind of that, I don't know, worn, weathered, wind-blown effect on there. It's trying to make it look steel-ish. And put some little black dots all over, simulating rivets. So anyway, this was my creation of what I could do. If I could do it, this is what I would love to have in the way of a tricycle. The seat comes out of a Top Fuel Funny Car kit, and most of this whole back area, the rear end and all that stuff, that's from that Top Fuel Funny Car. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this. I hope you get some inspiration from it and get out there and build.